Well, hello, Shiny Crafty People. It's Tim Totten here, and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to show you today how to take a standard 50 by 60 inch blanket. This is one from I bought at Walmart, and turn it into a parka using just a zipper. Let me show you what that looks like. Literally, the zipper is on either side here. Bam, a parka out of a 50 by 60 inch fleece blanket. Now look, you may notice that I'm actually not at my workshop or my regular office, and that's because it's New Year's Day. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna work from home, and what a fantastic view I have. So I thought I'd bring it to you as well. Let's go do this super fast, quick project. This project cost me less than $10. Yes, the blanket was like $3.50, and with a coupon, this separating zipper was less than $4. So wow, $7-8. You're in with a quick gift, and in 15 minutes, you'll be done. So join me down at the table, at my lovely dining room table. I'll show you what 2 items we need to put this together, and then how we're gonna sew it on. So for this project, I really only need 2 things: a throw, a pre-made throw, and a separating zipper. This one happens to be from Joann Fabrics. I originally went to Walmart where I got the throw. This throw is 50 inches by 60 inches, and it's really nice, but I decided that it would make a lot more sense instead of just buying the zipper that I could find there. I bought a heavy jacket zipper, 20 inches, but it's metal. And I just felt like that was gonna be uncomfortable on this nice fabric. So instead I went to Joann Fabrics and got this separating sport zipper. And you know it's separating because at the end, you can literally separate the zipper. They have a huge selection. I'll show that to you. I took some pictures there so you can see how many different choices I had. And because this is a 60 inch throw and we're gonna fold along that 60 inch side, I thought a 20 inches on each side gives us 10 inches left to go around your neck. And so it can go for a small child, to an adult. You just leave it a little less zipped if that's the case. So what we're gonna do is I'm literally going to sew this to the sides of the zipper, or the sides of the throw, separating those 2 sides out, put it back together, and there we have a parka from a throw. It's a quick gift to give somebody. So I'll go ahead and get this apart and find the 60 inch side, and then I'll go to the sewing machine and show you how we're gonna sew this on. So I now have my 60 inch side folded in half here along the edge, and this is where I'm gonna sew my zipper. And this is sort of the pretty side. You'll see the way that that blanket stitch goes on this side, and on the back it's less attractive. So I'm gonna sew the zipper underneath with just part of it showing out here. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and flip this to where I'm getting to the side that has the ends, the 2 corners. Now these have rounded corners on this particular blanket. It might be easier if you had square corners, but the rounded corners are fine. We'll just start where it starts to become straight. And I'm gonna take my zipper, let me take the tag off, and I'm not gonna worry about the 2, I'll leave it unconnected. What I'm gonna do is make sure I know which side is the pretty side, the top. And since this is the bottom of the blanket, I'll put the bottom of the zipper down here. So I also want the zipper tab to be visible from the front side of the blanket. So I'll make sure that I'm gonna put it on that way. So let me get rid of this part. Let me fold the bottom, other half of the blanket out from under here. And what I'm gonna do is put this in my machine and just sew right along the zipper tape. And I'll put start it where the blanket sort of starts to curve. Now I need to leave that pointy tab sticking off the end because that's where how you hook the zipper together. So in fact, I might let it push out the bottom a little bit. Now I'm gonna use a relatively short stitch on my machine because I don't want this going anywhere, and I'm gonna back stitch here at the end. Just really make sure it's tagged on there. I also want to make sure that all of this blanket stitch is kept out of the teeth, far enough away from the teeth that it's not going to get caught in when you zip this up over time, because people tend to put on zippers rather quickly. They think of it's like a big sport coat, and those manufacturers do a great job of keeping all the pieces and parts out of the zipper. So I'm just using the teeth of the zipper to drive my presser foot, to sort of guide my presser foot. And then I'm guiding the fabric along the side. Now, one of the things I'm going to do as well is I'm going to make sure that this stretchy fleece fabric is not stretching out as I go. So I'm just using my hand to keep it from stretching. I'm letting the machine pull with the feed dogs, pull the fabric and the zipper through, and I'm just making sure I'm moving my hand at the exact same speed. So I want to make sure that I don't feel any stretch to this top fabric. Now, you could pin all this if you chose to. I have been sewing for a very long time, and I just think that pins actually sort of get in the way. So I'm not doing it. For me, for you, you could certainly pin this if it made you feel more comfortable. The last thing here is I don't really want this tab sticking out the top, so I'm going to sew to the end of this. And then I'm just going to sort of pivot that off the end and back stitch at the top. And what that's done is given us that stitch along here. Now, it may be hard to see there, even on the back. You could come and put another stitch if you want, but that's pretty secure. Now what we have to do is go down to the other end of the fabric and do the same thing. Now the problem here is, now how do we sew this under here, making sure it starts at the same place and everything else? Well, that might be a little difficult to do. You don't want it to stretch out. So you could pin this along, or you could sew it from the other side, which is actually what I'm gonna do. This may look a little weird to you, but it is actually easy. It sounds like a weird thing to do. So what I might wanna do is pull that other end of fabric around where that zipper is and line it up. Go ahead and put this together. And now I wanna make sure that my two blanket tops are sort of at the same space. See here? Okay, that's good. To me, that's good. Then I can take that out of the way. I'll move this zipper pull up and out of the way for right now. And I can start sewing this right along that edge. And remember, we're gonna back stitch quite a few times along the back. There we go. And then again, I'm just running my zipper teeth right along the edge of my presser foot to give me the proper measurement. And then I'm going to run my hand with the fabric because I don't want to stretch this fleece fabric out too much. Now this is sort of counterintuitive to how we're used to sewing with fabric. We always keep the fabric on this side. But in this application, for me, it just made a lot more sense to do this. And I will go ahead, I have my zipper in, my needle in the down position, and I can go ahead and move that past. And so now that's completely out of the way. And then I will just keep stitching this down as I go along. Now, I could have pinned this and it would have made a lot more sense. I told you earlier I'm I'm sewing from home today because it's New Year's Day and there's a bunch of college football on, which is one of my passions. Sewing and college football, it's a fun combination. And so I don't want to miss those games in a little bit. And if I had to drive to my workshop or my office on New Year's Day, and I think just take a day off, you know what I mean? Like just enjoy your day off. So I am, because I'm sewing and I like to sew. All right, I'm getting close to the end here. I also tend to love really fast projects, and I like the idea that this one is really quick. So I'm enjoying the fact that it's not going to take forever to do this. You could even sort of bar tack this if you wanted to come across the top here and bar tack it down. You don't have to run your machine that fast. I just happened to, and that gave it a nice bar tack at the top. And this is basically done, other than I don't like tags on these things, so I'm gonna take off their tag without cutting the nice, pretty blanket stitching thread they used. That should cut that out, and then I should be able to hopefully take, oh yeah, I can take it out. Ah, perfect. All right, I'm gonna trim a few threads, make sure everything got tacked on properly, and then I will show you what this looks like on me, on a person. All right, so I wanted you to see what this looks like on a person. I'm gonna back up this far so you have to hear. Here is where I put those, I'll show this to you a little closer. This is where that zipper is along one edge and along the other edge, and so the part in the middle of the two zippers, so I'm gonna put it around my neck. And then you just take the two ends, put them into each other, and it zips up to this fun sort of parka. Now, depending on how you made it, you could leave enough, if you had a big enough one, you could leave enough for a headpiece to go through, but it becomes a nice parka, so if you're sitting at a football game or something, you can wrap up and it hooks it around your neck. And this is just from a 50 by 60 inch one. Can you imagine if you were using a much bigger blanket? You could make a blanket that was maybe 50 inches, because this is 50 inches on this side. See how long that is? That's quite long. I would go maybe 50 by 70 or 50 by 80 if you were making it from scratch blanket. And then that would give you a little more room here. Even with a 20-inch zipper, you would be able to maybe make it to where it had a hood or something else on it. But it becomes that fun sort of setup for a tailgating or going to a game of some kind somewhere out in the cold, or just sitting around a fire, because then you can just sort of hook it around yourselves and it holds on. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video of how I made this, turned this pre-made store-bought simple fleece blanket into a parka using just a 20-inch separating zipper. And until next time, folks, stay crafty and stay warm. Bye for now. All right, let's see who's gonna go to the football national championships.